All right. So I am live on YouTube and I'm live on TikTok. Hey everyone. My eyes itching, so excuse me. Oh, welcome. Oh man. Mm. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in and say hello. Come on in, come on in. But we are here live on YouTube and TikTok, and we are going to talk about excuse me, the energy of grief. The energy of grief. Yes, I know it is a subject that can be a little sensitive and um, triggering. So if the conversation gets to be just too triggering for you, then you know you can go. You don't have to watch, and I totally understand. I'm trying not to make it dark, but I do want to talk about the energy of grief because I don't think we talk about it enough. Um, I don't think that we, excuse me, really talk about what it does to us energetically. And since I am a Reiki master, allow me to introduce myself. I am Reiki Master Allison. I am the founder, CEO, and head mistress of the Sacred Pathway Academy. That is my school where I teach Reiki certification and other beautiful Reikipreneur skills. Also a spiritual empowerment coach for women who are 40 and over. So that is what I do. That is who I am. All right. I'm gonna adjust my phone here. Okay, so again, we want to talk about the energy of grief. Again, I'm not going to try to make this like a really dark subject. I don't want to make it a dark subject, but I do want us to understand what it does to our energy and what we can do about it. Is it going to make you just totally stop grieving? No, because grieving is a process, but it's also just part of the human experience, I feel. Um, so we all are going to grieve at some point in our lives. It's kind of inevitable. Okay. So before we jump in, though, I do want to pull us a card to kind of set the tone for the day, for the session. So I'm going to pull from Secrets of the Ancestors by Abiola Abrams. Haven't pulled from these in a while. Thank you for the hearts. Hello to everyone on TikTok. Come on in and say hello. Promise you I won't bite. We're just going to pull a card for the collective just so we can just set the tone for the conversation, okay? Mm. Everybody point your intention this way. Okay, let's see what we got here. I did not set my goals. I mean, there's a goal there on TikTok, but I didn't. I wanted to reset it, but I don't feel like reaching over it and trying to do it right now. I may do it in a minute, I might not. All right. So let's see what we got. Oh, how beautiful and perfect for this conversation. We have the unknown. The unknown. This is so perfect for this conversation as we're talking about the energy of grief and what it does in our energy centers. So the unknown, and that's card number 44. And why are my pages sticking together? So this card right here, the unknown, still trying to control everything. The answers you seek are unknowable at this moment. or the divine is not ready to give you the full picture right now. Nothing is certain. This is not a yes or no, but a pause. Trusting the unknown is about having unwavering faith. Believe in your bones that your ancestors have your back and are guiding you towards something greater. It may feel scary, but when we trust, amazing things can happen. Somebody type that in the comments. When I trust, amazing things can happen. The unknown calls us to step into a world of infinite avenues where dreams are born and miracles unfold. Let go of the expectations and open yourself to what could be. So, we're going to have our declaration of I am being guided and protected. I am being guided and protected. That is a beautiful way to start this conversation. So I give thanks to the ancestors always showing up and always giving us what we need right when we need it. Ashe. So we're talking about grief and the energy of grief and what it does in our system. So let's talk about this for a second. Immediately when you hear the word grief, we always think of death. We think of someone that we love that has passed on. That's immediately where our minds go. But grief is so much more than that. Grief can be over things that just happen unexpectedly, right? You can grieve the loss of a relationship. You can grieve the loss of a job. You can also grieve who you thought you were going to be at this point in life. Mhm. Some of us are doing that. Some of us are grieving who we thought we would be right now. Who we thought we'd be right now. Where we thought we'd be right now. A lot of us are grieving that. And a lot of us aren't allowing ourselves to grieve that. But it's a true thing. It's a real thing. You can grieve the loss of a person, but you can also the loss of the life that you thought you were going to have right now. You could also be grieving um the loss of a home. Like maybe you tragically lost your home, or you lost it because maybe you lost your job and you can't afford that anymore. So I remember when I lost everything. I lost my apartment, I lost my car, I was not employed. This was some years ago. I talk about it in my book. Let's see, if I can reach over here, which is starting over at 40, my sacred journey of self-discovery, empowerment, and self-love. Go to the link in my bio and pick up yours. But yeah, I talk about that in my journey of how I lost everything. And I went through these different stages. Number one, I was mad at God. I was mad at God. I was mad at myself. And it was just a rough period of my life that at that time I was not in the spiritual, um, I wasn't how I am now spiritually. But I like to think that that helped build who I am today, right? But the one thing as I was sitting and thinking about this, and this is of course after I had already published the book, mm, and I think I kind of talk about it a little bit there, but not as deeply as I probably could have. I won't say should, but could have. But like The loss of, you know, the job I had, the apartment I lived in, the car I drove, and having to move in with my mom and my aunt, and live in their living room. I did not allow myself to grieve that. So instead, what ended up happening, I was starting to carry that energy in my body. So, some of us, we are taught either directly or indirectly how to kind of bypass these things, right? One of the things that I realized when I started deconstructing Christianity is how much spiritual bypassing you're taught to do in church is, not for you to sit and cry over the loss of something because God has greater for you. Okay, I get that God has greater for me, but it still hurts. And I need to mourn it. I need to cry. I need to be upset. And I realized how much bypassing of my feelings and everything that being a practicing Christian had me doing, basically. Um, so as I've gotten further in my journey and learning more about energy and everything, I realized that it's important for us to talk about what it does to us. So let's start. So I'm looking at my notes here. So grief and loss can deeply impact the energy centers, so the chakras. Often it creates blockages and imbalances that manifest emotional, mental, and physical problems, basically. So here's a little breakdown that I did on how this affects each center. And if any of this resonates with you, by all means, let me know. Hold just a second here. Sometimes TikTok does stuff and it really irritates me. Okay, yeah. All right. So let's start with the root chakra. This is for your safety and stability. So the effect of grief in that energy center, it shakes your sense of safety and grounding. So this is especially after the loss of a loved one or the loss of life as you knew it. So again, like I said, some of us are mourning or grieving the lives that we thought we were going to have at this point in our lives. Because some of us are not where we thought we would be at this point in our lives. We had either like really big dreams or things that we desired and felt like, at this point in life, I should be, fill in the blank. And a lot of us have that. Why am I not there yet? Why am I still at this point, at this phase of my life? How come I'm not further along, et cetera, et cetera? So when you think about that part of your energy centers, again, it shakes your sense of safety, your grounding, and then it's pretty much taking that stability, right? Because that's what the root is about. It's your safety, it's your stability. It's also your sense of self, your sense of being, right? So some of the signs of this is anxiety, um, not feeling grounded, insecure feelings, difficulty trusting life or trusting other people, hmm or feeling disconnected from your own body. So when you're starting to feel disconnected from your own body, like you just don't feel like you just, I don't know. The root. We're talking about the root. So we're just getting started. So here's some of the things with, well, let me go through this part and then I'll go through what we can do. So we'll start over that way. That way I can stay on topic. So again, some of us are mourning. I'm gonna move this out my way. Where we thought we'd be. So again, let's stop acting like grief is only related to losing a loved one. And I'm not trying to slight that at all, because believe me, I'm still grieving the loss of my dad. My dad's been with the ancestors, been passed on since 2009, but I still grieve, still mourn the loss of him. Um, Not every single day, but very often. So then I look for ways to celebrate him in that remembrance. Let me get back on track here. So let's talk about the sacral chakra and how grief and loss affects that energy center. So the effects of grief, it disrupts emotional flow and connection with others, especially when grieving relationships or identity. Thank you for the follow on TikTok. So when we talk about the sacral is your emotions, your sensuality, your sexuality. It is the creative space. This is for your emotions and your relationships, right? So when there's grief that you're carrying around, it can disrupt the flow of your emotions. So you're feeling numbness or emotional overwhelm or guilt or the loss of pleasure and creativity. You don't you feel very blocked in the creative way when you're carrying that energy. So your creativity feels stunted. You don't feel like you can like really feel your emotions. You just walk around kind of numb, and I know this feeling very well, very well. Um, and it's not a good feeling. It's not. It's it it's very crippling, to be honest, when you have that numbness, and you don't realize how bad it is or how bad it can be. But trust me, if you're carrying this in the sacral area, again, those signs are numbness, emotional overwhelm, guilt, loss of pleasure, or creativity. Peace and blessings, Goddess Christine. So now let's talk about the solar plexus. And incidentally, anybody watching this on TikTok, if you come in a little bit later, you can always go over to my YouTube channel and watch the replay and catch the parts that you missed. Hey, Tea Time Beauty. And the same thing on those that are watching on the tube. That is you. You're coming in later. It's all to the good. The replay will be posted. All right, so let's talk about the solar plexus. So the solar plexus is about personal power and identity. Yes, purple. Not the solar plexus. Solar plexus is yellow. But Tea Time Beauty said, "Hello, my purple friend." Okay, so the effects of grief to the solar plexus. It undermines your confidence and self-worth, particularly if you feel helpless or directionless. So, If you are carrying grief and it is affecting your solar plexus, some of the signs would be, hi, it's me, Lee. Low self esteem. Did you not know that grief can affect your solar plexus to a point where that affects your self esteem? Thank you. Where that affects your self esteem, that affects your confidence. It also can affect your decision making, so you'll have difficulty making decisions. Oh, thank you for the gifts. Thank you for the gifts. So carrying that in your solar plexus is low self-esteem, difficulty making decisions, also can give you digestive issues because yes, your solar plexus governs your digestive system. Your digestive system is out of whack. You might want to check the energy of your solar plexus. This is the one besides the heart. But this is the chakra that I feel a lot of people are walking around with problems because we hear all these people talking about gut health issues and your gut is just messed up. I feel like a lot of people are grieving things, are not feeling their feelings. They are bypassing doing a lot of spiritual bypassing, and not really dealing with the problems at hand, not really sitting in your problems, right? Again, going back to what I was saying earlier of when I was into the church, there was a lot of spiritual bypassing there because you're not allowed to feel your feelings because the immediate thing is, well, God's going to bless you. Don't worry about how bad it is because the greater is coming. So you don't sit and worry about that. Don't be sad. Don't be this and don't be that. But all that's doing is making me repress stuff. All that's doing is making me repress it. And it's very unhealthy to where someone like myself, I'm eating my feelings because since I'm not feeling my feelings, I'm eating them. So I'm going to hit the drive-through and I'm gonna get me, the double cheeseburger and the large fries. I'm gonna get me a milkshake, knowing I'm lactose intolerant. So between the cheese and the milkshake, my stomach is gonna be on fire. Okay. But I'm doing all of this to bypass my feelings. So then that wreaks havoc on my good health, start feeling low and not have my self-esteem is rocked. I have difficulty in making decisions and I'm doing all these things and I'm fatigued. Yeah, fatigue. If you're tired a lot. Now, this is something as someone who was diagnosed with clinical depression. Fatigue is a mother. It's a big part. And it's usually for me a telltale sign for when my depression symptoms are starting to kick in and mess with me because I'm feeling really fatigued, tired, I feel drained, my gut is all out of whack, and I just don't feel like myself. Anybody else have that or have ever dealt with that? Put it in the comments. So let's move on. Let's talk about the heart chakra, which is love and compassion, which is something we don't show ourselves enough. Love and compassion. Now, hear me when I talk about the fatigue. I'm not just talking about just run of the mill. It's like all I want to do is sleep. I don't wanna get out of bed. I don't wanna do life because all I wanna do is sleep, because in my sleep, I don't have to deal with my problems. In my sleep, I can just sleep and not have to deal with feeling the way I feel. Or the other piece of that, even in the fatigue, you can't sleep. You're incredibly tired because you can't sleep, because all your stuff is just out of whack and you're not dealing with the issue. So let's talk about the heart. So the effects of grief on the heart is deeply affected by emotional pain and heartache. And this is often where the heaviest grief is stored. Now, something else that I have talked about. I know that Black women tend to be the number one uh, demographic that suffers with heart problems. And if you've been rocking with me for a while, you probably already know what I'm going to say. But you know how, like, February is Heart Health Month, and a lot of times they talk about Black women and our heart health. And one of the things outside of diet that I know a lot of Black women are walking around with, and that is a broken heart. Our broken hearts, from whether it's our parents that broke our hearts, our siblings that broke our hearts, the person that we fell in love with broke our hearts, or just the fact of how Black women are treated by society, that is heartbreaking. The way that Black women are treated in general is heartbreaking. So we carry within us that broken heart, and that broken heart is grieving for what we wish we had, for the life we thought we had, or that we wish that other people would just treat us better. The grief, the sorrow, the pain of that, how we carry everyone, and it seems like no one has our backs. And the sad part is sometimes we don't even have each other's back. And that is heartbreaking. So, the love and compassion that we should be showing to ourselves and to each other can help heal that. So, signs of grief affecting your heart chakra: heartache, chest tightness, withdrawal from others, difficulty giving or receiving love. So, these things, this grief blocks our abilities to, excuse me, give love, receive love, to be able to um, welcome in the love from other people. You know, when you're walking around with a broken heart, when you are grieving loss of a job, loss of a relationship, loss of a loved one, loss of a pet, loss of a life that you thought you were going to have, heartbreaking. And we do need to deal with it instead of bypassing it, because we are the queens of moving on. We are the queens of that. Thank you for the heart, me. As we're talking about the heart, we are the queens of moving on, of pushing through. We push through. I know that has been my MO for a long time. Okay. I like that name. Grief affecting all my chakras. And I work with my chakras intensely. Feels like the work never ends. And it's true. It's true. But don't worry, we're going to have something and things that we can do. Because here's the thing, healing is not a destination, it's a process. It's not a destination because I think it's something that we are tasked with doing, but it's just that it gets better. The process of healing, the process of you know, um, no longer carrying certain energy and burdens. There's a relief for us to have, but to be quote unquote cured from it, I don't think that's something that we can do. But not saying that in a discouraging way. So let's move on to the throat, and then we'll go back through the different energy centers and talk about what we can do to help clear the energy, okay? So the throat is about communication and expression. So the effects of grief for the throat chakra is blocks your ability to express your pain or speak your truth about the loss. So the signs are suppressed emotions, lump in throat, silence, inability to ask for help or share your story. Black women, the inability to ask for help, and not just ask for help, but accept it when it comes. That right there is literally killing you. So please, please, let's learn how to ask for help and receive it when it comes. Okay. I always have to speak to my sisters about that because we have that bad. We have that bad. And that's what that broken heart is doing to us. We don't want to ask for help. It's affecting us. Because if the energy's not flowing, right, then it's like we don't know where to go, what to do, who to ask, how to use the discernment, how to do any of those things because we're just so blocked. And the muck and murd of all of this energy is affecting us. So ask for help and share your story. Your story matters. I know we're like, I don't want everybody in my business, but baby, let me tell you something. Sharing your story not only can help set you free, but it can help somebody else have the courage to speak their truth. Because not everybody has the courage, and it takes that one person to step forth and say, hey, I have the courage to speak my truth, and I have no choice right now but to do it because I need to be free. So, in order to set yourself free and then to help someone else in their journey, speak your truth. Will it hurt? Probably. Probably. But once you've gotten over that initial hurt, it can't hurt you anymore because now you've spoken it. You've spoke on it. And you said, you know what? I gave you a name. You can't hurt me no more. I've put you out there on Front Street. So now all I gotta do is just figure out how to deal with you. Now let's go to the third eye, which is your intuition and insight. How does grief affect that? And I know you're probably like, well, the third eye and the crown, how can grief really bother them? Aha. What my boys say on Coming to America? Aha. So the effects of grief can cloud your ability to see clearly or trust your inner guidance, especially if grief leads to despair or confusion. Aha. Let's go ahead and read the crown. My notes for the crown. That's your spiritual connection. Oh, did you not know that grief can affect your spiritual connection? Because it definitely can. And does. Thank you. And does. So it can either shut down your sense of divine connection or it can awaken it, especially when facing death or existential questions. So here is for the third eye, your signs: mental fog, nightmares, lack of clarity, disconnection from spiritual insight. For the crown, spiritual disconnection or profound awakening, feelings of abandonment by a higher power, or questioning life's meaning. So, as I was speaking on earlier, because what I talked about in my book is how I lost my apartment, I lost my car, my way of life. Everything was just gone. I lost it all. I mean, I put it all on the line, but didn't work out. So I lost everything. And my spiritual connection, I put on a brave face. But this was around the time that I started my spiritual awakening. So that kind of is how awakening kind of got that shove. Because I started questioning God, like, dude, are you real or not? Because like trusted you. Why did you let me fall right on my face like that and embarrass me in front of everybody? How did you make me feel like that? I feel like a fool for trusting and believing. Oh, honey, me and God, we were not cool at that moment at all. I was not happy. Like, I was like, huh, I wish I would give you some praise right now because I'm mad. But once I got myself to a point, I started realizing that I'm always protected in the land of the unknown. Even when it seems like everything's topsy-turvy, I am always protected. So let's talk about some of the things that we can do. So let's go back to the root. Y'all, like I said, that the root. Told y'all, we're talking about grief, but I'm still trying to keep it kind of light. I don't want it to just be like down, down, down. Okay. So let's go back to the root. So again, your root is about safety and security. So grounding exercises. Some of the things that you can do, you can go barefoot outside to reconnect to earth, um, and or take a salt bath. Yeah. So you can go outside barefoot for like 5 minutes or so, walk on the grass, let your feet touch the soil. Oh, you're welcome, goddess. Let your feet touch the soil or sand if you live near a beach. And if you do, I'm jealous. But go outside and do that. And while you're out there, you can affirm, I am safe. I am supported by the earth. I am safe and I am supported by earth. You can even say Mother Earth. You can say Gaia. Oh, yes. Yes, Tea Time says I will have to go on a beach date this week. Yes, ma'am. And you can follow this with a salt bath. It could be either Epsom salt or sea salt, with some grounding essential oils like cedarwood and patchouli. Those are very grounding. Um, I use patchouli quite a bit, but cedarwood, I love using cedarwood. I put cedarwood on my feet, and that is to help the whole grounding thing. So I'll put cedarwood essential oils on my feet, give myself a nice little foot massage with it, and then I will put my feet flat on the floor when I'm sitting and do some breathing exercises, some grounding exercises. So that's a good way to get yourself grounded, to bring yourself back to earth, if you will. So try that. Okay. Now let's talk about the sacral. So we want to flow with our emotions in the sacral, right? So this would be an emotional water release ritual that you can do. Okay. So sit by or immerse yourself in water, like a warm bath, or you can like have like a bowl of water, put your like feet in it or something like that. And then speak your grief into the water. Say it out loud, or you can say it silently, talking about what you've lost and how you feel about it. And then you want to add some drops of orange essential oil. So wild for doTERRA is wild orange essential oil. Um, or you can get a stone that's orange like cornelian and put that nearby. But what this is to do this to reconnect you to that sacral area. So let the water hold your emotions. So you're letting all of the emotions flow into that water. Release it to the water. Let the water take that from you and cleanse that from you. And then when you're done, watch the water go down the drain, pour the water down the drain, whatever, mechanism that you're using. Okay. You can also you can take a bottle of water, cup of water, and you can speak into that and then pour that down the drain as well. Water is just good like that to take it, the vibrations of water. We're mostly made of water. You can speak it, put that water close to your sacral area and just close your eyes and speak that to cleanse that area and then pour it down the drain and watch the water go down the drain because it's symbolic of watching your problems flow down the drain. You can also take a shower. Thank you for the heart me. You can also take a shower. I've done this where I took some I think at the time I didn't have wild orange, so I used grapefruit, which that's still very solar plexus. Um, so I took that, not solar plexus, sacral. Well, solar and sacral. But anyway, put that in my shower so the fragrance could kind of be in the atmosphere, if you will. And I took my shower and I had me a good old cry in the shower. And I just symbolically just like washed and I watched that water go down drain. When I say I watched it, I watched that water go down that drain. I'm like, you're not gonna bother me no more. Go down that drain. Go down there now. Get down there. Get down there now. So yes, you can do that. All right. Solar plexus. Reclaim your inner power. So you can do a candle intention and fire writing. Hi, Goddess Chantel. So you can write what you're releasing. So if you're feeling things of guilt, helplessness, or whatever it is that you're feeling, you can write that on a piece of paper. Then you want to get yourself a yellow candle. If you don't have yellow and all you have is white, it's fine. It's fine. Okay. Light the candle, read your release aloud, and safely, I have to say that loudly to get your attention. Safely burn the paper in a fire safe dish. Don't you dare pick up no plastic and be doing it. Needs to be in a fire safe dish. And while we got fire for this yet holding on incense that I'm burning, here, take some smoke. Take some smoke. Take some of it. Take it. Take some of that. Some of the ash fell on my computer, and that's okay. Did y'all get some of that smoke? Did you get some? Did you get cleansed real quick? You didn't. Here, take some more. Here. Here you go. Breathe it in. Let it cleanse you. All right, so let's move on to let me tell you. So you want to also affirm, I honor my strength. I release what no longer serves me. I honor my strength and I release what no longer serves me. Let's go to the heart. Opening to love again. Don't be afraid to love again. Open up your heart. So this is the rose heart ritual. So you want to get you some rose quartz. Where my rose at? Where my rose at? I know I got my rose quartz around here. Whoa, 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 I got my rose somewhere. Let me get her. Oh, no, no, no. I know where she is. She right here. Yes, rose. Get you some rose. I always like the rough stones, but yeah, that light, that reflection. But yes, this is rose quartz. So you want to get you some rose quartz, but you can also get you some green stones. Okay. Um, but you want to hold that, or you want to get you a fresh rose, or if you have like if you practice herbalism, um, yes. Um, get you some roses, some rose petals, whichever. And you breathe deeply into your chest, imagining a soft green or pink light expanding. And say aloud, I allow myself to feel. I am held in love. I allow myself to feel. I am held in love. And then you want to journal a letter to the person or thing you've lost and place it under your pillow or put it on your altar. Throat chakra, speaking your grief. This is a voice release. Sit quietly and speak aloud to your grief. Name it, express it, and cry if needed. If you feel it, if you feel that cry, don't you suppress that cry. Don't you suppress that cry. That's the problem. You've been suppressing it because you don't want to cry. I know it hurts. But sometimes the only release we have is just to feel it and cry so that we can move on. Crying for me sometimes can be very cathartic and it helps. It's like I feel cleansed or purged. And sometimes, yes, I know it can open up some stuff that we just don't want to deal with. That's why I also recommend whenever you're doing spiritual work, energy work, I hope you have a therapist that you talk to. So sit quietly and speak those things aloud. You can also sing or hum, or you can chant, hum, not ham, HAM. It's hum. So you can do that. Does anybody like to chant around here? I do sometimes. Anybody chant regularly? Then you want to also drink some warm herbal tea like chamomile or peppermint. These are to soothe the throat afterwards. Okay. Put a little honey in there also. Honey also is soothing. Somehow I figured, Goddess Chantel, that you were the chanter in the bunch. I love it. I love it. All right, for the third eye, seeing the bigger picture. So, intuitive grief meditation. So, you want to light a lavender or indigo candle. Sit in quiet meditation. Ask your higher self or spirit guides, what do I need to see or understand about this loss? Tea Time says, I haven't chanted in a few months, but you are encouraging me. I have been grieving. Sending you love. Sending you love. So light your candle and ask that question, and then write down any intuitive messages, dreams, or symbols that arise. Sometimes you can be sitting and writing when you are tapping in and you're asking these intuitive questions. And you can start off by saying, I am doing this. I did this. And eventually you will write the word you. And when you start writing the word you, it means somebody is talking to you. Now, if that doesn't ever happen, don't be like, well, Allison said that's supposed to happen, and that ain't never happened to me. It's just a possibility that it might. Okay. Speaking of lavender, lavender essential oil, very good for both third eye and crown. Okay. You can use that to help with your third eye and seeing the bigger picture, helping you with the grief that you might be carrying in that energy center. Okay. And now the crown. The crown. This is the light offering and prayer. So I got to get comfortable for this one. So for this one, you want to light a white candle. I feel like Vanna White. Hmm. Yeah. Light a white candle and sit under the stars or in silence. Oh, thank you, Goddess Chantel. Light a white candle, sit under the stars or in silence. Now, here's the thing about that. When it says sit under the stars, guess what? You can really get you a twofer on this. So remember, with the root, we're supposed to go outside and touch grass, right? Right? So if the crown is saying that you can sit under the stars, meaning you go outside, you can do two things at once. You can help your root and your crown. So you can seal both ends. Hallelujah. Yeah, you can. You can. Offer a simple prayer to the universe, God, ancestors, or spirits, such as Thank you for holding what I can't. Guide me through this. Thank you for holding what I can't. Guide me through this. Meaning the burden of your grief is getting to where, hold on. Okay, so TikTok is irritating me. It says the same shape. I don't know what this means. Okay. Anyway, so meaning that, thank you for holding what I can't, meaning it's becoming so heavy for me to carry this. And I need your help because I can't carry this anymore. And you know what? I kind of had to do that when it came to my father passing because it got too much because my grief was also anger, right? I was also angry with my dad. I was very upset because there was so much stuff that he did not tell me that just really was like, bro, how did you not share this with us? How did you keep all this stuff from us? So my grief was like charged with a lot of like anger and and fire because I'm a fire sign. My dad was a water sign. He was a Cancer. Uh-uh. We gonna talk about this, sir. But seriously, I finally just had to be like, you know what, God, take it, because I can't carry this. The anger that I feel right now towards him, I can't keep carrying this. So I had to make that decision. So that is why I say give that to them and say, thank you for holding this and just guide me through it. And then you may also want to visualize your grief rising like smoke and being carried upward into divine hands. So, like it's leaving you and going up into the heavens and where it gets purified and cleansed. And it's not for you to have to carry anymore. It just gets lighter and lighter. So that's why I wanted to talk about this because, so many of us are still carrying grief of people we lost, things we lost, things that, we thought we would be doing right now, um, different phases of our life, you know. It's okay to grieve that your children are grown and out of the house and you miss being mommy. It's okay to grieve that. It's okay to grieve that um you're a woman that's now going into menopause. And, it's just that reminder that you're not young, well, not say you're not young, but you're not in your 20s anymore. You're not in your 30s anymore. You're now at this point of your life where everything is different. And I love how someone coined it as like a second puberty because, oh my God, yes. Oh my God, yeah. But so it's different things that we can mourn and do and grieve. And it's okay. It's really, really okay. We have to be all right with that stuff. We have to be all right with that. It's because at some point in our life there is going to be some kind of sorrow, some kind of grief. But us just learning how to sit in it and process it and learning how to do the things to release it so that we're not carrying the pain so much. There's a quote that I want to share, and it says, I sat with anger long enough until she told me her real name was grief. I remember when I heard that, I was like, well, damn. I sat with my anger long enough until she told me her real name was grief. So many of us are carrying grief and we can't figure out, why are we so angry? Why am I always so frustrated? Why do I feel like I just want to scream all the time? Because I haven't allowed myself to feel my feelings. I haven't allowed myself to really grieve. I haven't allowed myself to just be in this human experience, this spiritual being walking through this human experience. And this human experience comes with so much stuff. But what we do is we try to bypass it because we don't want to deal with it. We don't want to feel it. And then we use these vices to substitute the feelings or the ability to deal with it. So we drink, we smoke, we overeat, we sex, too much of, using our bodies in that way. And it's over and over and over again that we do this to ourselves instead of realizing, hey, maybe if I just go ahead and deal with this, I'll be okay. Because then it shows you I am so much stronger than I thought I was. I truly can deal with this because honestly, it's not mine to carry. I can let it go up like smoke and let someone else carry it for me. And just know that I'm covered and I'm loved, that I'm surrounded by love, that I'm surrounded by, my spiritual team, my spirit team that loves me unconditionally, that will share with me, that will carry that weight for me, that I don't have to do it. I don't have to do it. And then I have the opportunity to speak my truth in the midst of other people who also have that similar or same truth, where we bond, not trauma bond, but we hold each other up and adjust each other's crown, wipe each other's tears, and make each other laugh. And realizing we are not alone in this journey. We're not. We are alone when we choose to be alone. And sometimes choosing to be alone can be a good thing, but we were never created to be an island. We weren't. This, oh, I'm a lone wolf and I'm gonna go at it this way and all this other stuff. You can only do that for so long because it is eating away at you. We as humans need human connection. It's just a matter of us using the discernment to find the right connections so that we're not trauma bonding, but we are holding space for one another. Oh, you are so welcome. We're holding space for one another. We're loving on each other. We're giving each other the love that we need to get us through. Thank you. Thank you all for the gifts on TikTok and the love. So, I know I've been talking for a lot. I know on YouTube, this might not get a whole lot of views because usually the really long videos don't. Because our attention spans are like this, and we don't want to sit for a long time. But I'm still posting it because I'm not in church anymore. But one thing that one of my pastors used to always say: the word is the word is the word. So if this is a word that you need, then I suggest you sit down and you listen to it. Go back, you can listen to it, you can rewatch it, you can take notes, you can do any of those rituals that I talked about. I'm going to be doing a lot more teachings on the energy centers. So, yes, you do. And I don't understand why you're not. So, thank you all on YouTube. I'm about to cut off and I might hang out on TikTok for a little while. But I love you all.